Just give it to 10:02 and we'll get started. Yeah, okay. I think we might get started now. We're at 10:02 now. So hello and welcome everyone. My name is Ciara McGarry Quinn and I'm the Traveller and Roma Access Officer with Trinity Access Programmes and UCD Access Lifelong Learning Centre. You're very welcome today to the webinar of the Travelling Community Teaching Resource, which is authored by Annmarie Collins. The webinar this morning also doubles up as the launch of College Awareness Week 2024, which sees events this week scheduled nationwide with the aim to promote the benefits of going to college and to help students of all ages to become college ready. I want to emphasise the significance of our webinar this morning as we've reached all parts of Ireland this morning with registrations from Cork, Kerry, Limerick, Mayo, Westmeath, Donegal and Dublin to name a few. I would also like to thank our sponsors, Trinity College Dublin, and especially NAPD and Perigo, who are supporting the webinar this morning. To provide some context on today's discussion, Annmarie developed the original online resource in 2020 with the Trinity Access Programmes and was funded by Perigo. This year, we revitalised it by producing a print copy, which was sent to every primary and post-primary DEIS school nationwide with their College Awareness Week merchandise. When we contacted Annmarie about this, it sparked ideas on how we could best support the resources distribution, which I'm delighted to say brings us all here this morning. Some housekeeping before we get started. I just want to let you know, I suppose you've all got notification that this has been recorded and we will follow up afterwards with the recording to everyone who's been registered. And I'd also want to just flag that there is an opportunity to ask any questions or give any comments in the chat box on the bottom of the screen. The format of the day, I'm going to pass over to Paul Crone, the Director of NAPD, to officially welcome and introduce Annmarie. Then Annmarie is going to go through her presentation. We hope we will have also a student join us, a Trinity undergraduate, to give a student's perspective on their experience of learning about the Traveller community learning about the Traveller community in school. Unfortunately, due to traffic this morning, we may or may not have her, so we hope that you will be able to join us later on. And finally, we will have a Q&A to finish off. And before finishing off, Robert Willis from Perigo, a long-standing College Awareness Week sponsor, is going to finish off with closing words. So I'm going to pass over to you now, Paul.
Thank you very much, Ciara. Good morning, everybody. You're very welcome on what promises to be a very cold week ahead, but there'll be a bit of warmth in this webinar to get you started on your week. We're delighted to be proud supporters of College Awareness Week in its 11th year. It's an important part of the school calendar, and I think every school principal around the country can speak to the value of College Awareness Week and the raising of expectations, the supporting of students, the opening of those conversations with their students around progression pathways, where their career or further study is going to take them. And we're heading into a week of activities, a week where the focus is very clearly on the student, on supporting the student, to make the decisions that are right for them on the basis of their aptitudes, their interests, and their abilities. And that is the key point from College Awareness Week. And this webinar kicks that off. And it kicks it off from the perspective of we talk about, and many people talk about integration, and integration is the sharing of spaces and everybody is integrated together. But what we're actually looking to move towards is genuine inclusion. Inclusion where every student feels value, every student has the opportunity to experience success, and every student has the right and the opportunity to have their needs met and to be able to fulfill their full potential. And that's what College Awareness Week, it espouses those values for every student to be represented, every student to be valued, and every student to be given every opportunity. So we're very proud to be part of this, and I'm delighted to acknowledge it's not wouldn't be possible without the support of Perigo and the work that they continue to do since the beginning of the program and the sponsorship that they give. And but it's the vision that they have for the added value that College Awareness Week brings to all students. So without me rabbiting on for forever, I'm going to hand over now to Annmarie. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So good morning, everyone. I'm actually just going to start first of all by sharing my screen. I made a little PowerPoint to keep me focused and to save me from going off on little tangents. So I'm going to share that first of all and make sure everyone can see. And now, Kira, you might just let me know as well that you can see that on your screen.
Yeah, we can see it
Perfect.
perfectly.
Great, thank you, Paul. So yeah, I'm Annmarie Collins. Just for anyone who's joined, I'm sure there's plenty of people on this session that know me already. But for anyone who doesn't know me, I am a primary school teacher, an OT, and I'm currently doing my PhD with the School of Ed in TCD. And as Paul and Kira said, I've made this resource over 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years now. And it's a free resource and it's available on College Aware, the website. But I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has made it because I know as a teacher how hard it is for people to make this session this morning. I imagine it's been tough for people maybe they want to join who need cover for classes and everything. And I'm sure if I check my WhatsApp now, it'd be full of principals looking for teachers today. So I do appreciate anyone that has been able to join and to have this very important discussion. So the resource this teaching resource I made over 4 years ago, and I made it, I suppose, because based on my own work experience, my own work in OT, my own work in schools, and from my experience with TAP, the Trinity Access Programme and College Where, I felt teachers were very much asking me, I mean, how do I bring the representation of the traveller community into the classroom? How can I make it normal to bring it into my lesson, to make that curriculum inclusive, to reflect every child in the classroom? And I know last week on the radio, there was a lady on, and she was saying that by 10 years old, a child has already made up their mind on what they're going to be. And I felt, and teacher feedback from teachers was that, like, where do I find books to expose a child to what they can be if they're from that community, and other children as well, not just travellers, but to expose them to those out there from their community that are musicians, that are authors, that are whatever, that play lots of different roles in in our community as a whole across the country. And so that's where I suppose my inspiration came from. And I suppose I felt that teachers were saying to me, look, what are the books? Where do I find them? So that's essentially what I wanted to do with this resource. I wanted to make it very easy, accessible, and it is free for you to download and kind of get an idea. If you are doing a story, if you want to bring in music from the community or whatever it might be, that you can find that information. And it's there for you. And it's also suited for higher education as well. There's articles, there's journals, there's lots there on those that are looking at this area for their research. So that's where the kind of, I suppose, the inspiration of the resource. And as well for me as well, look, I can't say I went to school and ever heard about travellers when I was in school. I never did. I wish I had. I wish I had been exposed to those maybe who had gone to college or were working in different roles. So I just want to stress that. So that's the inspiration. But as well, I made that resource in 2020 because I was in a very frustrated place. I was in a place where I thought maybe I'll never be a teacher. I was trying to overcome barriers at the time to become a primary school teacher. And I thought it's important that I just kind of go over that today. And I'm sure people have heard lots of this story before, so I do apologize I'm repeating myself here, but I just want to go over the barriers because this is why we're here today. And I want to, I suppose, by sharing my story through games of educational matters, you might get an idea of why it's so important that we're here today and why it's so important that we use this resource and we expose children to what they can be and what is out there and a positive representation of their community, because it is really hard for people from minority communities to be that person that's leading that space of learning. And so we all have a really important and a powerful role to play by using this resource and bringing it to life in the classroom. So just starting off, I did go to a Gael school. My family have great respect for the Irish language, and I was very lucky. I was the chosen one to go to the Gael school in Avon. The grade school was a ladder for me. I went into secondary school. I went into all honours classes. I suppose it was a different. I'm not going to lie. Primary school, I missed a lot of school and a lot of school when I was in primary school. If I didn't want to go in, I didn't go in. But secondary school, I just went in and I was in all honours and I was surrounded by peers that were pushing me, and it was that positive peer piece, where I actually started going to school a lot more. I was studying for my tests. So it was a really positive, that was a ladder for me to grade school. I was in honours Irish, etc. Junior cert, I hit a bit of a ladder, or a snake, sorry. I went into junior cert, and certainly I remember I was 15 at the time, and that pressure then came in. All my brothers had dropped out at that point from their junior cert, didn't complete the junior cert or leaving cert. And so that was the expectation for me. That was my norm. That's all I saw. I didn't, like I said, I didn't see anyone in my school books that represented anyone from my community. So for my parents, certainly, it was such a foreign idea to kind of think that I'd stay on and do my leaving cert. So that was a snake for me. There was pressure on me to leave school, get married, get some work. And so I hit a snake and I stopped really, I suppose at that time at junior cert, I accepted, you know what, I'll never go to college. College is not for a person like me. And I know we hear that a lot. There's always people talking about this, but that really is the reality for so many. And that was my reality. I kind of said, okay, that's it, no point. So I stopped really going to school and leaving cert. I had a really bad leaving cert, got like 250 in my leaving cert, but I didn't study for it. I just went in and I sat those exams. So I thought that was actually quite good. I remember getting an A2 in ordinary Irish. I dropped down to ordinary because I made that decision in my leaving cert that, you know what, college is not for me. I'll never be able to go there. So I'm actually going to go to the teachers I like. So I went to classes where there was a nice teacher. And leaving cert, we know leaving cert is hardcore. It's if you can't keep up, move to the lower level, or if you can't afford grinds, move to the lower level. Teachers cannot, there's not enough teachers to offer that support. So unfortunately for those that are struggling, that's what happens. So I gravitated to the nice teachers who makes me enjoy coming into school. I left leaving cert and I worked for a few years, but I went back and I did a PLC. Because my parents come around to college at the idea, or, at that time they were kind of thinking, okay, it's not that bad, you can go to college. I did go back. Unfortunately, PLCs were not accepted by universities, and I wanted to be in Trinity, so the course I wanted couldn't get into with PLC. But I did a pre-university science course, level 5, and my mother ended up bringing Kathleen here, Kathleen O'Toole, and I entered the Trinity Access programs because actually we found out that I could potentially get into Trinity through the Access program, and I did. I started the Access program. Unfortunately, it wasn't funded at the time. You couldn't get any support through Susie. I really struggled. I had been saving to go back to college. I went through my savings because I'd moved up to Dublin. So I ended up having to repeat the TAP program to do it again, give up my work, move back home, try it again. So that was 3 years again to try and undo the damage of the leaving cert. Went on. TAP was such a ladder. I went on to do my OT degree. Brilliant. Went through OT. Got a fantastic opportunity through the Trinity Access programs as well to go to New York. Worked in schools over there for a year, their version, I suppose, of underserved deaf schools. Came back then, went to Cork, worked with travellers down there in community development and education. But it just that wanting me to be in an education in the classroom was there. And I was very lucky in Cork. Katrina O'Sullivan actually put me in contact with Miriam Collins in the Marino Institute of Education, who was running an access program, the Tubber Access program. And I was just it changed my life. I got in contact with Miriam, but I hit a snake in that, you know what, I'd come to the Tubber program again, who were their focus being that they wanted to support members of the traveller community to become teachers. And unfortunately, even though I'd done my Leaving Cert, I'd done a PLC, I'd done TAP twice, I had an OT degree, I had over 7, 8 years work experience at this time, I was told you do not have enough to be a primary school teacher. And that I just so at 30 years old, I had to go back and sit my Leaving Cert. And I know every year we have that same conversation. Leaving Cert is not the end of your life. The Leaving Cert, you can get past it, but it actually is a really big barrier for those who don't have the support at the time and who don't see themselves reflected in the curriculum. So I had to go back and repeat my Leaving Cert Maths, my Leaving Cert Irish, as well as 2 other Irish exams to become a primary school teacher. I did that all through Marino Institute. I wouldn't have gotten in without their support. And then I went on to do my master's, and I got a first in my master's. I was well able to do the master's. I was well able to be a teacher, but unfortunately there was big barriers there. And then that's just that little piece there of the tired little guy's me when you go into teaching and you realize, oh my God, it's actually, that's the tiring part. It's a really fast-paced job, but I love it. And I suppose my passion then for that inclusive curriculum has led me on to do my PhD, where I'm looking at the importance of this, of using that to support a sense of school connectedness for all children. So moving on, just to kind of give you an idea, again, just to stress how important this session is today. I had to do 22 years of education to become, to be a primary school teacher, compared to the 15 years that the average person, the typical person who does, flies through the Leaving Cert, goes in and does their undergrad and walks into teaching at 22 years old. There's so many barriers there for other people that don't get that. If you mess up your Leaving Cert, there's significant barriers there. So with that there, just with the resource, just to stress, that is why it's so important that we all come together as teachers, that we share resources like this, because it is of course, we would all love to have traveller teachers in our classroom, and we all know as educators that when we want to support a child, if we don't know, you go and you connect and you ask other teachers. And unfortunately, when there's so many barriers there, it makes it harder for people from minority communities to be in that space. So moving on with the resource as well, just my feedback from teachers too was that, look, they really want that support. Teachers want ideas. They want support in bringing that inclusion into the classroom. And I've gone on, I'm trying to make that, I suppose, bring that resource to life even more through my own website. It's something that keeps me sane in the midst of my PhD. It's a little thing that I have that my Instagram page, to pop up those little lessons, links, videos, storybooks, etc., and have that space, because I know certainly as a teacher, Instagram is so powerful, and we know that for social media, to remind you that, like, oh yeah, I could try that lesson, or oh yes, that resource. So I wanted to do that, and so I'm doing that through my own Instagram. So anyone watching, please do follow. I'm on about 950, so I'm hoping by the end of the week I might get to 1,000. But it's just spreading that word and sharing it with teachers to kind of get that weekly update of ideas that you can bring into the classroom, both primary and secondary. So the website simplyinclusive.ie, and that's the same with my Instagram, simplyinclusive.ie on Instagram. And what do you find? You'll find various little things. I make little comprehensions, word searches, those procedures, things like that on people from the community, so musicians, artists, storybooks, etc., that you can download for free on this website. So please check it out. If you're doing traditional music and you want to learn about Finbar Fury, the uilleann pipes, tin whistle, etc., you'll find it all there. And as well, you'll find little storybooks and workbooks to support various storybooks that you can use in the classroom, both primary and secondary. So agus freisin má muireann tú trí gaeilge yoid tú achní freisin on website. Just so that's it really. I was just flying through. So Gurv Mila, and just to kind of sum it up again, this resource is here, but it is so important that we have it today. But if you can, share it, use it, and give us feedback if you are using it, because it is important that all children, but particularly traveller children, see themselves reflected in a positive way of what they can be in the classroom. Agus Sinead, so I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully I didn't go through that too fast. But Kira, will I pass it on then to Robert?
Yeah, so we have the 5 minutes here if we've anyone that wants, if any questions or any comments want to come in for Annmarie. We have the chat box open there if anyone would like to pop in a question. Um,
Yeah, and what I could do is will I reshare the website even just to kind of go through it a little bit more?
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I lowered my hand there.
Perfect. So I might just click on it here just for people to see. So this is the website and look, educational resources. You can go on to juniors if you are looking for uh, workbook or story ideas. There's information about the storybooks. There's little read alouds as well. Richard O'Neill, he is from a Romany background as well. So you've Roma kids in your classroom too. They're fantastic little ideas, and it's bringing these storybooks are fantastic. Just give you an example of, say, one of his books, and the lost homework. This little boy, he goes to, it's bringing in aspects of culture and traditions. So he goes to a wedding, one of his family members are getting married, and he gets stressed because he's lost his homework book, and he goes into his teacher and he feels awful, and his teacher is saying, well, no, actually, yeah, you did lose your homework, but tell me about all the things you've done at the weekend that are just as important. And so the child is sharing things that he's done, and it's just making that, it's a fantastic book for maybe children that really struggle, that find homework frustrating, that actually you do a lot at home, that's you're using those skills that you learn in the classroom in the home environment as well, and it's making that piece relatable for children, especially for children that are going, oh, school is not, I don't like school, I don't see the point of it. It's a brilliant book to actually kind of go, well, actually you do use all those skills from school in the home environment. There's other storybooks, there's music lessons, etc. As well, if you're looking at seniors, I do want to stress as well, just on the work piece, if you go to SESE and SPHE, I wanted as well just to bring in inclusive employers. So especially in the secondary school sector, I'm working even with a child who, exposing them to people from his community that are working in, your everyday jobs, Mr. Price, all these places, these inclusive employers that are, making their environment inclusive. So it is, I want to capture that in true comprehensions to celebrate those people, because as teachers, we are going out and I think every teacher on this session will agree that when you're during the weekend, you're using your money to buy little things for your classroom or to support an inclusive lesson for a particular child. And it's important to know that the money we're spending in these places, that those people are inclusive employers as well, that they're creating spaces for every person from every background. And I just want to celebrate those. And so you'll find little comprehensions on things like that. As well, people in our community, gym instructors from the traveller community. I've done one of my brother here. Just again, you can use that. Maybe you're in secondary school and you're doing Leaving Cert Applied. It's looking at the roles of these people in the community. And again, you're very subtly exposing children to people out there playing important roles from their background. Yeah, so there's lots there. There's also ideas on events that are coming up, publications as well. And as well, I'm hoping to as well pop the information up of various travel organisations around the country too that you can link in with, that do fantastic work. And they're usually they're mostly they're in every big town really across the country. So that's that. I might stop sharing that, but if people have any questions, do let me know. But any help in sharing this and bringing that resource to life in the classroom, it would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Annmarie. So yeah, so we have no questions as such, but we have some comments and that it's an excellent resource and thanking you and that it's really inspiring your story, Annmarie, through the educational system. So I don't think we have any questions coming in. But what I would like to know is that we will be sharing this presentation with everyone afterwards, and we'll also be following up because myself and Annmarie are very interested in doing some practice sessions with teachers and educators that are willing to implement the resource in their classrooms and schools. So there will be a follow-up email from us after today. So without holding you up for too long, Um, I am going to pass over to Robert Willis from Perigo. Thank you.
Thanks, Kira. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay, great. I just wanted to say a few words. Um, it just strikes me, in terms of educators, they're crucial to fostering welcoming, supportive, and inclusive cultures in the classroom. So I want to thank you for your support in that respect. And Annmarie, thank you for sharing your story. That's one that really inspires, to keep going and work through no matter, what barriers are put in your way, and those barriers have been pretty significant. And it's people like yourself who make a huge difference to break those barriers down and encourage others like ourselves to really rally and support in ways that we can. Also, all students, including travelers, should be able to see themselves represented in a positive light, and to plan for a positive future as well. I'm delighted that Trinity College, through the work with others across the different networks, whether they're in the HEA or HEI, I should say, UCD and or CSI, and relevant community partners are working collectively to increase participation rates for travellers in further and higher education. So to our end, from a Perigo perspective, I mean, we're a self-care pharmaceutical company, and who we deeply believe in inclusivity in the workplace. So it's about offering opportunities for those who really deserve, to be exposed to the capabilities that they've got. So from our end, we're truly with that sort of level of understanding. We want to make sure that we're ring fencing a place in our transition year program, so that a member of the traveling community can come into our environment in spring of next year and see what it's like to work in a company like ourselves. Take the opportunity to see if office life is of interest to them, get them out on the road to see what it's like to be in a sales environment if they want to experience that, and give them a touch across all functions in the organization. That's what we typically do, so they kind of get a sense of, well, that could be interesting, or that's definitely not for me. We get a lot of that, which is, gosh, I definitely not going to go in that career direction for sure. So it's just really helping people understand choices in life, and coming into an environment where they're accepted as a student who has every opportunity to contribute to the work environment, as they work their way through their education. So, and I also wanted to just say that we've been very proud partners and supporters of College Awareness Week for over 10 years now. We've got a wonderful working relationship with both Kathleen O'Toole Brennan and Paul Crone, who we meet regularly. And, so the campaign for us is going from strength to strength. And it's become very much embedded into our annual calendar from an education perspective. So community mentoring is a great opportunity for Perigo and other organizations. And I would really ask other organizations to jump in and embrace this, and help us drive the mission forward. We want to make sure that students can leverage role models in business and society, and look for guidance. And, we always look forward to attending. We were actually last Friday out in St. Tiernan's Community College, participating in the annual Careers Fair Day. And it's always magnificent to engage with the students, and the fun it brings it's as much fun for us as it is for the students to engage in the program, and as they're kind of looking at their choices of life going forward. So we're deeply committed to that. And we're very pleased to see that the Traveller community resources have been delivered to every DEIS school in Ireland, and is being actively used in the classroom as well. So I would just finally say that we're delighted to sponsor such a worthwhile endeavour, and I wish all the students, as they commence their transition year programs or they're thinking about their choices for the future, just the very best of luck for that future. And we look forward to welcoming students in due course here as well. So I'll hand back to you, Kira. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't mind, Robert. We've one question that's kind of directed towards you. It might not be we might not have the answer today, but we will surely follow up. But I might just put it to you just in case we do have an answer. Just someone has asked about how we could find out more about the work experience opportunity for travellers. Will that be sent out through College Awareness Week, or how will we be looking at doing that?
Well, we've got we've put our program together here. We're actually trialing it at the moment. So if people want to, I suppose we'll need to centralize this. So I'm not sure exactly what that process would look like, but ultimately they'll come into ourselves for vetting, etc. So I would suggest that you probably need to centralize through the program. I'm not sure what the answer to that is.
That's okay.
And then when the applications come into us, we'll make sure then that we reach out. If anybody wants to follow through and talk to anybody here with Perigo, more than happy for you to follow through with me. robert.willis@perigo.com is my email address. And we'll figure out what's the right way to admin around this. But just email me. It's probably the easiest answer right now.
That's grand. What we could do is we could send out your email with the recording afterwards, and then people can get in touch if they want to get in touch.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Well, I think we will leave it at there. Thank you very much, everybody, and happy College Awareness Week.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. And just look, please, please use this resource and don't make it just a 1 year intercultural celebration. Bring it into your classroom and normalize it and embed it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.